Yeah. Okay. Now, well, you have a lot to say concerning this. Now, let's start with the athletics now. I mean, the former athletes are reacting because they didn't like the way it all went, and especially Rosa Collins saying they wanted a transparent elections, but what they witnessed at the Abuja National Stadium wasn't transparent at all.
It's not that they wanted a transparent election. We are promised Nigerians. This is not about athletes or who wins or who does not win. Nigerians, we are promised a transparent election. A lot of time, media space was wasted on this, and we are told that this election will be groundbreaking in terms of setting standards for transparency and so on. But once those guidelines were out, I knew we were not going to have elections. The guidelines were not different from the former guidelines that caused confusion. And that's why I'm blaming those who took part in the elections. Okay. From the beginning, they would have said these guidelines won't produce elections. And you don't need guidelines. Each federation has a constitution. Or if it doesn't, it should. And those constitutions would definitely say who can participate in elections, in what capacities or not. It's very clear. It's very clear. But when people want to cause confusion, they can do any type of thing. Now, you're disqualifying people. Should it be on the day of the election? The normal procedure is if you are disqualifying someone, there will be a time between the date of disqualification and the election. So if you are disqualified, you could appeal, go through that process and know why you're disqualified. Correct. But now someone's name is removed and you say it did not appear. I mean, you don't do something like that. And we're talking of national election. It's not a local meeting or some club or something.
Zonal or it's national
No,
elections.
it's national elections. And these people, when elected, will join international sports federations.
Okay. Let's move on with the show now. More reactions are coming from the elections, National Federation elections that went down yesterday. One man that is definitely aggrieved is a former president of the Taekwondo Nigeria Taekwondo Federation. That's George Ashiru.
Said even if he's not on the board, it has already been popularly assumed that anybody can be nominated to contest. So let him contest. Then he came up and said, no, well, there's a petition against him. So, you just received a petition this morning against him. When did you treat it? How did you suddenly use the petition to come to a conclusion that the man is not qualified? Has he been given the opportunity to defend himself? And so I raise points of objection. Number one, on the 12th of May, in this Abuja, the Secretary General of the Federation called for elections to 3 positions: athletes, rep, technical, and sponsorship stroke ex officio. He announced it to the media. He wrote to all the state associations. Because of that, we all came here. We submitted our forms before the deadline that he imposed, which was the 9th. And as at the 12th that I got here, I was the only person who has submitted form to contest as sponsorship stroke ex officio before the deadline that was imposed by the Federation. And he announced it and said, the only candidate we have is so and so. And we left believing that that was done. And on the 31st of May, he sent me a message that I have concluded your nomination as ex officio, and I forwarded your name to the ministry as at 31st, the next day. Your name will be at the ministry. With those 2 conclusions, I'm here to contest, only to be told that my name is not on the list.
Okay, that's George Ashiru, definitely not happy with what went down yesterday. He was supposed to be a candidate for the Nigeria Taekwondo Federation, but his name, mysteriously, according to him, failed to appear on the list of candidates. From
all these stories, what is obvious is even those who claimed they voted did not know who the candidates for those positions were. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because if the names disappeared or appeared on the day of the election, you can't find your name. It means nobody knew who the candidates were going into the election. So who did people vote for?
Interesting.
That's the thing. Because if you didn't even know who you will be there or not.
Million dollar question right there.
So that's the same issue I'm talking about. There was a time frame for this. Submit your names, submit your particulars, a vetting, a screening committee. Once the screening was done, the names should have appeared for the various positions and the various candidates.
Days ahead of the election.
Days ahead of the elections.
Yeah.
At the screening, that's when people should have been disqualified.
Yeah.
If people pass through the screening, they shouldn't be disqualified
on the
anymore.
Day.
Unless when after the screening, names appeared and there are petitions against those names, then there should have been a committee to deal with that. On the day of the election, you can't be disqualifying people.
But do you think there's a foul play somewhere? Because if you listen
it's
to
not
the
foul
full
play. There are
interview,
foul plays severally and in several places.
Everywhere. Because yes, if you listen to the full interview, you talked about the fact that, you know, someone had, before they could even bring the master's list to check if his name was there, I mean, Margaret Binga had already been declared winner because she was actually alone, and it took unopposed, because it took them just 3 minutes before the master's list, and even when they brought the master's list with his name there, they saw it, but then there was nothing they could do, and that was it. So that's why he's saying there's no elections now. If he's obviously, he said he's going to make the case to the Sport Ministry and also to the NOC. Do you think some of these elections will be conducted again?
No. You see, the danger in the evil that is going on is nobody is responsible for it. Names we say names didn't appear, so we are not holding anybody responsible. That's even the danger. It's not who is elected or not. Nobody is responsible for this process.
Oh, really? Why do we leave the
there's an electoral committee and all that?
No. If you said names did not appear or disappeared, that electoral committee or the screening committee now should be saying Mr. A is not on the ballot paper because of this. But the way we are going now is, name did not appear.
Okay, and
we didn't see the name on the ballot paper. So that's where the danger is. It's not even who is elected or not. We are setting precedents for the next election with the mess that is going on now. So if you ask me, we should cancel everything that has been done. Tell the federations to hold their own elections. That is one. Secondly, let's follow the international system for these elections. Most federations have the elections a few months before the Olympics. So the new people get in there and are introduced to the Olympics body, the international federation, because they're the people to work in the next 4 years. But we're not going to have people, we don't even know how many years their tenure will be, and they just bump into people now in the next Olympics. They bump into them because they don't know them, they don't know where they're coming from. So I should suggest we cancel these elections and allow the associations and federations to hold the elections by their constitutions.
Okay.
Not any guidelines issued by anybody.
Okay. Let's still taking more reactions from the elections. The winning candidate, that's for the Nigerian Taekwondo Federation, winning in quotes now, Margaret Binga. She's also been reacting to our victory.
It was fair because when we kept the second person that was to contest had an issue. His name did not appear on the list submitted to the electoral board, and so his name is not there, so he was not eligible to be there. We don't know why. So,
do you think this is another round of fresh crisis in Taekwondo?
I don't think so. We can always resolve our problem. We are matured people, except they don't want to play maturity. It's not a do or die affair. It's not a do or die affair, because I believe in every election we must have a winner and must have a loser. So it's our ability to accept whatever position we are and carry everybody along and work. Our mission is just to work, nothing else.
So now you're in. What should we be expecting you for Taekwondo in Nigeria?
It's not me. It is the board, because I am a team player. I don't have power to do anything without the agreement of my board. But our expectation is to make sure that Taekwondo develop more than where it is today. We want to medal at Tokyo 2020. We want to do programs in all the 36 states of the Geographical Zone. It should not be just zoned to one Lagos affair. Let the people in Lagos feel what people from Zamfara are feeling. Let people from, what do I call it, the far Maiduguri feel what, you understand? Let it travel across so that we know places and you know the feeling of other people. So it shouldn't be just a one-sided affair. It should go around. We will make sure that during my administration, we will increase the number of technical officials in the international. Just as the international referee will do a lot of, will attract international competition to Nigeria by the grace of God and with the collective decision of the board, because I can't do it alone. I am just a servant. I want to serve. So I will do what they ask me to do, what the community, Taekwondo family in Nigeria want me to do, and that is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, lofty plans for the Nigerian Taekwondo. Basically, that's from the new president, Margaret Binga. Nigeria didn't qualify for the Olympics, that was in Rio, but Binga says he wants to medal at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. I mean, that's just 4 years from now, but she's made a lot of sense in that perspective.
She does. But once you have an election that is not free and fair and not transparent, you leave so many people behind. That's what happens. And you create very dangerous precedents. The next election will be worse than this because people have basis for making it worse. That's my concern. Secondly, nobody is taking responsibility.
Right.
And yes, nobody is taking responsibility. If there's an electoral body, that electoral body now should be saying why a particular person was disqualified. Did the electoral body meet and disqualify the person? Why wasn't the person informed? Why should it be on the day of the election that people who have traveled from wherever waiting to vote for particular candidates, we find out that the person is not a candidate?
Yeah.
Yes, there's something about it. You find out that the candidate you came out to vote for is not even a candidate in the election.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Now that you mentioned, that's where I'm going, because would you say that's the reason why basketball, I'm talking to Tijani Umaranko, decided to go and do their own election because they foresaw a situation like this where their names could mysteriously disappear. And so they went ahead and do their own election a day before the election. I mean, now we have two factions because another election was held yesterday that has brought in Amadou Musa Gida as the president of the Nigerian Basketball
so which one
Federation.
is the election now?
Election before the election, that's what I said.
According to from report from the sports ministry, they said the one on Monday wasn't recognized, but the one that was done on Tuesday, that is recognized. So we have two factions now.
It's unfortunate that it's the sports ministry that is taking responsibilities of organizing this election. And the worst that it has made a thorough mess of it. So the basketball situation, because the sports ministry now, unfortunately, is the body that decides who is a candidate or not. Whichever side it says won the election or the one he recognized, that's the one that will be recognized. But I want us to get out of all this situation by people who have some passion for sports, who like sports, who want to see sports survive.
Okay.
Saying elections should be done in transparent manners.
Okay. All right. Yes. Just hold your thought there. We'll go for a break now. We'll come back. We'll wrap this discussion up. Stay with us.